Well, hey there, gang. It's time for one last ride into Outlaws of Thunder Junction Standard before everything changes. Can we find one more fun thing to do before rotation? Let's find out. Time to play some head games. Friends, opponents, gamers, and gaming enthusiasts, welcome to Head Games Arena. I'm Jetterex, and for our final video in Outlaws of Thunder Junction Standard, we are going on a fetch quest. Yes, we've done all the two color combinations, so this in our final episode in this format, we're going to do all five colors with my favorite card in the format that is probably going to be completely irrelevant after rotation. It is Invasion of Alara. So this card is incredibly complicated, but you have to build around it in a very specific way. So you have to play with almost no cards that cost less 4 mana value or less, so that when Invasion goes off, you get 2 of them, and you get to use Bramble Familiar's adventure side fetch quest. So basically you are getting to fetch quest faster than you normally would by about 2 turns, but there's lots of other tricks that this deck does. So the trick is survive the early game, slam Invasion of Alara, cast fetch quest, and hilarity ensues. So the trick to this is if we can get a 7 mana spell into our graveyard, lots of ways to do that. When we activate Invasion of Alara, when we cast it and it enters and it has its effect, we cast Bramble Familiar's Adventure Side Fetch Quest, and hopefully we hit this card right here, Cemetery Desecrator. Hopefully it exiles a card that costs 7 or more from our graveyard, removing the 7 counters from Invasion of Alara and casting the back half, Awaken the Maelstrom, which as you can see is a veritable library of text. Not going to go over what it does, I promise it's a lot. To fill out the deck, we have cards that you can play for cheap, but have an expensive mana value and mana value 4 or greater. So, Leyline Binding, it's an all-star. When you play with all of the tri-lands, this is effectively a 1 or 2 mana removal spell. Trumpeting Carnosaur, same thing. 6 mana spell, can be used for 3 to do 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker. Virtue of Persistence, you're seeing a trend by now, I'm sure. Herd Migration to get me the lands I need. Vanquish the Hordes to be a sweeper that costs more than 4, and actually notably more than 5. And then at the very top end, Atraxa, Itali, just to be very, very good hits off of Bramble Familiar. So this deck, it is very swingy. Sometimes it feels like it does very little. When it does big things, it does big things. Super fun time. Can't wait for y'all to see how it goes. It's our last romp out here in the wild, wild west. So let's go right over into the gameplay and see how often we can complete our fetch quest. Skater John, different than Little John, canonically distinct. Okay. So we've got red and green, which means we can get to Trumpeting Carnosaur and Herd Migration. Herd Migration gets us the Virtue of Persistence. We're effectively starting at 25 life here. This is fine. Depends, of course, on what our opponent is playing, but we can start with a tri-land. We see black-green, probably just Golgari. That's not a bad matchup for us, all things considered. We are weak to counter spells. And actually we drew a Takanuma, so we also have Virtue of Persistence on too, so I thought we might see the Bronco. Bronco's fine. We're gonna take the turn off to kill that. Now we have 2 Carnosaurs. I mean, they have a lot of direct removal, but when our deck goes off, it does really obnoxious things. Okay, so we get red from this, right? So we can do this. We're not going to wait. I believe it is just better to just do it now. We are kind of playing the destroy everything that they put down, which is at least a little ironic because it is also what they are trying to do. So I have a couple of options here. Using the Herd Migration, I am going to use the herd migration to get an island. That's going to make leyline cheaper. And we will... Do we do this now? Yeah, let's do it now. Taking this line gives us 2 plays next turn. Bat takes one of our removal spells. They should take the Carnosaur to make us use the binding on the bat. Tap land, another 2-drop. That's a big no for our opponent. Okay, so... I mean, I think we just hold. Bramble Familiar dies to their removal. It is completely... Is it completely pointless? I feel like it's completely pointless. Yeah, we're just going to say go. Okay. Okay. So we get... That's red, white, green. So we want the Xander's Lounge, probably. That gets us double red. We have double white. Yep, sorry. That is a tough nut to crack sometimes. So... We're just gonna keep their board empty. If I draw another land, I can fetch quest. I can hard cast fetch quest. Can also cast Virtue of Persistence. It's a fair play. What do they get to get rid of? I'm interested to see if they know what the right thing is. That unfortunately is not. That is not the right thing. Okay. Let's see if they take another turn off to play to attack with Restless Cottage. Looks like they're gonna. Bronco. Don't have enough. Oh. Obliterator. Okay, so... Itali's probably better here. And then Invasion. So here we go. In spinning the wheel, Invasion hits at least one. So we use Bramble Familiar. We do this empty card over here, this glitched out fetch quest. That's going to dump more cards in our graveyard. And we're going to get Cemetery Desecrator. Cemetery Desecrator is going to hit our Herd Migration, which they should have hit. It's going to remove the counters from Invasion. This is exactly what we want the deck to do. Okay, we're going to draw 2 cards. We're going to destroy the Obliterator. We are going to get another... do we get another Desecrator? Yeah, let's just get another Desecrator. We're going to put all the counters on these guys. I'm going to get rid of the Obliterator. And remove X counters from their food. And then say go. That's 18 power on the board, friend. Keeps him alive. Our opponent has had enough. Jeepless? I'm also Jeepless. I got a car, I guess. I feel like, you know, it's a Jeep thing, so I wouldn't understand. So, is being Jeepless the quality of not having a Jeep, or the quality of having a Jeep at some point and losing that Jeep? Is it better to have Jeeped and lost, or never to have Jeeped at all? This is a terrible hand. This is better. This is one of those scenarios where I'm surprisingly going to... I'm going to keep a Trumpeting Carnosaur and an Invasion in 4 lands, and we're going to see how it does. You want the Bramble Familiars to be in the deck. You just do. There are some scenarios where casting the Bramble Familiar early on makes sense. It's honestly almost never in my experience. Mono red. Playing Ginger Brute. That's a spicy cookie. We're in trouble. We're gonna be way too slow. Okay, so I don't think it matters what we play first. We're just going to play out our cards and hope they are not fast enough to just dunk on us. 4 more damage from the Brute. Untap land. 2 more damage from Play with Fire. Untap land. Not an untap land. So at this point, it does not matter what we do. Okay. Let's see. Another pump spell? No. Okay. Okay. I don't think we're out of this. Shock. We are not out of this. Okay. So, I mean, we hold up Virtue, right? We actually have turn 5 Invasion of Alara, but we have to not die first. So, I'm really tempted. I think I have to Virtue here. Okay. 11 mana, empty field, 3 cards in hand for our opponent. Lightning Strike takes us to 8. I don't feel terrible about where we're at. We have the mana to Trumpeting Carnosaur, so let's play the tap land. Cross our fingers. Swift Spear. Pump spell on the Swift Spear. Show it to me. Oh, sweet Jesus. That is incredibly lucky. Invasion of Alara. We're going on a fetch quest. I want to look at my graveyard to make sure I have a 7 mana spell. I've got an Atali in there, so I can get Cemetery Desecrator. Gonna get this Atali. It's going to remove counters from Invasion. We're gonna draw 2 cards. We're gonna blow up their land. Gotta do it now, friend. Are we gonna copy a land? I think we are. I'm not sure that we need the threat. Maybe we do. Maybe we need to close out the game. Okay, we're going to take the Lightning Strike from their graveyard. Remove X counters from that. Okay, can they... Oh, they really are Jeepless! No Jeep for you! Ooh, a Tactical Punt. Sometimes it's just better to hold your field position, you know? Okay, this hand gives me Leyline on 2 for a single mana. I have 3 solid removal spells and all of the mana to use them, so I can get through the early game. If I'm playing against something that's aggro or mid-rangey, that's a good start. If I'm not, I'm probably in trouble. So we play one that has white and black first, because that gives us options. White, that is blue and red. There's a Swift Spear. Okay, just double checking here. Blue black, white, red, green. Ley lines online. I'm fine with this. What in the world is that? 1/3 prowess. Pay 2 life. Yeah. Yeah, we're taking the damage because we're trying to bait out. Alright. Our opponent's doing something very interesting. Quite curious to see what it is. We're missing land drops, so we are in trouble. Opponent's playing a very mana efficient deck. Okay, that seems like game. Don't like losing to variants. We need double black, actually. Not that it really matters. What is our opponent doing? Helix. Neat. Neat. Wait. It's plotted. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Invasion of Alara. Going on a fetch quest. Very low chance we're hitting Desecrator. I can't believe we did. Okay, so herd migration. Remove counters from invasion. We're gonna draw 2 cards. We're going to, because we're gonna copy Desecrator, I think we destroy a land. We're still very close to dead, and as a matter of fact, we probably are dead. Do you have enough to kill us? You've got plenty of damage over there in your plot zone. Good game. I'll take it. The Gnostic device. You know, they know what they're doing. They really do. Up the Beanstalk and Leyline Biting is a great place to start. I don't have black for the Virtue, but I do get to play Up the Beanstalk to draw a card and Leyline Biting to draw a card. So not the worst. Kinda slow, but that is the name of the deck. Kinda slow. Not really the name of the deck. I call it Fetch Quest because I think it's a cool as hell name. Just 1 white from our opponent. We're going to start with Spara, probably. Jetmir's just as fine as well. Doesn't matter. We'll take an untapped land off the top for 1,000. Thalia. Copper Code. Okay. That is not... That is not an untapped land. Not what that is at all. Adeline? I haven't seen like a straight up mono white deck in a minute. Getting in for 4. Pretty solid. Okay, so... So I just have to get rid of Adeline, right? I mean, that's the move. I can't take the time off. Actually, I forget that I have Vanquished the Horde, and that it is uniquely good against a deck like this, and I should probably try to get them to overcommit. But honestly, getting the Leyline binding out there might do that. There's Thalia. 4 more. Okay, so now we discard Herd Migration. We get a Swamp. We play the Swamp, and we play Bramble Familiar. We're not dead. We have some options here. I had a feeling. It's okay. Still not dead. Still not dead. Because we have the 5th land, Vanquish the Horde. And just like that, we're right back in it. Yep. Our opponent says enough. Fabien Léon. Bonjour. Monsieur Charcuté. I mean, I've only got 4 out of 5 colors, but I have 2 early game removal spells and the Invasion in hand. I actually am on the draw. It looked like my opponent mauled. I'm going to keep it. Did you maul? Or am I seeing things? I'm seeing things. Oh, they did. Okay. Now I feel better. Ziatora gets us Virtue on 2. Creature? Mm-hmm. Fascinating. Okay, now I get to do Mountain. Virtue. It at least slows them down a little. They're probably dropping the 6/6 Dino this turn if they're on that Dino plan. Fight rigging is bad for us. Chetmir's Garden. 3 invasions. 4 out of 5 colors. My kingdom for a blue source. Pugnacious Hammerskull. What's our opponent got under the fight rigging? Trumpeting Carnosaur. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Alright, so green from this. I'm missing blue, right? We're not just dead on board. So we're gonna play to our out. We're gonna Virtue that Lore Keeper, get our total up to 27, and see what our opponent can do. So they have another fight rigging. Means they get to hide away the next best card. And then they get to cast it for free. Another fight rigging. We're taking 16 damage. Okay, here we go. This is the big spin of the wheel here. We could take over the game. We could absolutely die. Alright, going on a fetch quest. Desecrator. Hit our own herd migration. Okay. We're going to draw 2 cards. I'm very tempted to blow up the fight rigging. I think that that's right. Copy the Desecrator. Put all the counters on one of them. Do I have another big spell? Virtue. Get rid of the Carnosaur. What do you got? What do you got? It's fine by me. May seem like a strange choice, but watch this. I get to exile their Carnosaur and kill this. My 4/4 just traded with your 10/10. Okay, land for turn? What is his ward? 2. Okay. Up the beanstalk. Binding. Get this out of the way. Pay the ward. Get in. Did we just take over the game? I cannot believe that swing! Good night, sweet dino. Longhi paso. That's Italian for loungewear. Not a lot of people know that. Alright, 2 Jetmir's Gardens. I mean, I do have a binding. The familiar is kind of useless. I can't cast the virtue. Honestly, there's a fair amount of interaction with this hand. I don't think I'm gonna do better going to 6, so Garden on 2. White blue means I'm playing Bramble Familiar on 2. So I think I go ahead and play the tap land and just get in for 2. White-blue means it's probably control, so I have to try to be as aggressive as I can. It's not really my favorite play pattern for this deck. So here's my land for turn, and we're just gonna get in for another 2. Opponent hasn't done a thing yet. Now I'm convinced they're playing control. 2 Fields of Ruin feels very good for our opponent. Yep, we're going to continue to play tap lands and continue to attack for 2. There's a Memory Deluge. Unfortunately, like, control is easily our worst matchup because they just hold out and stop us from doing the thing that we really want to do. The 2 Fielder Ruins are actually not as important against us. They had to discard to hand size. That's what just happened. They discarded to hand size. Okay, so that means I have 7 mana when I play this land. But I don't have anything to do with 7 mana, so yeah. How do you feel about another 2 from ye old Bramble Familiar? This raccoon, it's really getting in there. Yeah. Go. Yep. Not looking good for us. I know it doesn't feel like we're losing, but I mean, we're not winning either. Okay. I mean, I don't think I have a good target for Besage You, so yeah, we're just gonna go for it. I mean, do we slam Atraxa now? Right? I mean, they just counter it, right? They counter it in such a way where it gets exiled. Yep, here we go. Counter our Atraxa. Go ahead. You don't want to let us have the cards. That's absurd. It took our opponent a really long time to figure out that they needed to counter that.
I am Kamigawa. Let your blade do the talking.
Yep.
May your blade strike true.
Take this, Wandering Emperor. Please show us your next counterspell. No. That's not possible, is it? This is not possible. It's not possible that they don't have any counterspells. It's really not. Sure. I mean, I didn't hit the combo into a win there, but I suddenly feel like we're participating in this game. I mean, there's something to be said for the old make 'em have it, right? They have to wipe the board now. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, now we get to start using their own Realm Breaker on them.
Strike fast and strike hard.
So I'm actually kind of thinking of binding their Wandering Emperor instead to bait out a counterspell. Because it also draws me a card with Beanstalk. Yeah, let's get this out of the way.
Try not to miss me.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So another land gives me 9. Let's fetch quest again. I don't hate the Virtue. I don't have a lot of creatures in my graveyard, so I mean, I guess Carnosaur is probably better. Invasion? I'm not sure I have any left in my deck. Just the one. I'm gonna deck myself. My opponent's over here just like letting me deck myself. I actually think that there's no way that we win here. If they decide to interact with this, like with what I'm doing right here, I'm actually kind of okay with it because yeah. So, like, I don't want to give them cards to draw, but I'm actually just going to deck myself, so... Yeah, it's me. Alright, destroy their... Tranquil Cove, draw a card. This is where Beanstalk actually seems bad, because I'm drawing too many cards. Okay, what am I copying? We are copying Desecrator. We're getting rid of your Sunfall. Removing the counters from your guy. And then calling it a turn. And we will discard Itali, Desecrator, and a land. Board wipe? Oh, good game. They're already on the mill plan, and we're doing their job for them, so...
You cannot win.
Go on. Watch this. I'm gonna kill myself on their turn.
Sensible, I pull one thread, and your entire mind unravels.
Okay. Mo damn. We do need more dams. We do. They're good. Good for the community. This hand has absolutely no interaction in it. Let's do it. Black and green again. Okay, Sparas. Oathsworn is great. Love to draw some interaction. That would be terrific. This Ayara's Oathsworn, a card we never see. It's gonna eat us for breakfast. Yeah, so just playing tap lands and drawing death cap glades. That's all we're doing today. Shieldred. Hostile Investigator. Cool. See ya, Tally. All 4 death cap glades. All 4 of them. It's absurd. It's absurd. Just... what a remarkable kind of variance this is. Cool. Carnosaur's fine. Feels a little like Storm, doesn't it? 2 fetch quests. Whew. Tally. Okay, Lily. Virtue. That was not bad. I honestly thought we were going to lose despite doing all of that fetch questing. But getting 2 removal spells was a pretty big deal off of a tally.
A fight? And you think you can win?
Okay, we are caught up.
Sacrifices must be made.
I was being pretty snarky there, but... Hey. Don't shoot the sheriff. Rude. Okay. So they have to take the Desecrator. Yeah. Sunseeker. Cool. Oh, sweet RN Jesus. Desecrator off the top is brutal for our opponent. Here we go. Okay, removing counters from Invasion. Good night, friend. And good luck. All right, friends and opponents, how did we do today? Well, Invasion of Alara Fetch Quest is a remarkable deck. I have a lot of fun with it. We came out here to do this over-the-top Rube Goldberg combo, and the deck did not disappoint. We came back from the jaws of defeat a few times and won some games. We saw the downside of this deck as well, that it sometimes lacks the interaction early enough in the game to keep up, and also it's very vulnerable to counter magic and control style play. But when it does its thing, boy, it goes right over the top and creates a winning board state out of nowhere. I love decks that do things like this. This deck has been a pet deck of mine, you know, while it has existed in Standard. Bad news is rotation's right around the corner. This deck probably not going to survive. It loses Leyline Binding because it loses all the tri-lands. It loses Cemetery Desecrator, which is the perfect complement to Invasion of Alara. So we were grateful to have it in Standard while we did. We sent it off with an enormously good time today. So thank you to everybody who's been keeping up to date, watching Head Games Arena, all of our other content on the channel. We very much appreciate you. We appreciate your support. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Leave comments if you want to support us even more. We are going to be taking off a couple of weeks. I am going to be taking off a couple of weeks to go on vacation, so this will be my last Outlaws of Thunder Junction video, and I'm going to take a few weeks off before I start making Bloomborough content. So tune back in a couple of weeks, and we will see what the new Standard format looks like. Until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you again real soon.